Hi everybody, Vicky O'Neon here. In this video, I'm gonna share some of my highlights from 2021. And although we've still had this bloody annoying virus through all of 2021, I've still been very, very lucky to have some really cool experiences, meet some amazing new people, and also create some cool content. So without further ado, let's dive in. Exactly a year ago, I started to create regular content for my YouTube channel. And the first video I put up was a live looping performance with a remix that I've made of Daniel Bedingfield's tune, Gotta Get Through This. And it was filmed in a warehouse in North London where I used to live. And this was the first time I created my own remix and live looping performance. And it opened up a whole new world of fun for me. So then a week into 2021, I made a neon remix of Michael Jackson's Wannabe Starting Something. And I was just learning how to edit videos in Adobe Premiere, and I went all out using green screen. I dressed up in different wigs, I incorporated vegetables, drills, and so on. And I think you can tell that I had a lot of fun making this one. And I also made a tutorial on how to use playback instrumentals from karaokeversion.co.uk, where you essentially can download individual parts for songs, which I used as a starting point making this remix. And I think it's a really good place to start if you feel a bit stuck creatively. So check out that video if that's something that you want to learn more about. In February, I did an online masterclass for TomTom magazine about drums and electronics as a part of their weekly Chops TV. And I've been following TomTom magazine since they started in 2009, and the work they are doing is absolutely amazing. So I felt really honored to share some of my insights on their channel. I also released my own neon remix of the Cranberries tune Zombie, along with a breakdown video with some beat making tips that you can check out here on my YouTube channel. In March, I made a collaboration with Vochlea, and they have a super cool software called Dubler, which essentially converts your voice into a MIDI controller, which means that you can turn your voice into practically any instrument. And I applied this both to my voice, and I also built a drum kit made from my makeup, as you do. And with this, I made a live looping performance with a neon remix that I made of Lady Gaga's Born This Way. And in that video, I also break down how I built that performance, if you want to check it out. I was also fortunate to be a part of an amazing experience at the Albany in London as part of Imaginary Millions house band. It was a completely improvised experience with 25 poets, singers, and rappers. And each person had a microphone and could contribute at any moment. The whole experience was captured and live streamed, and there's now an album available with some of the songs that came into existence on Bandcamp and Spotify. Me and my drum sister Ree Williams also made a cheeky remote drum cover of Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name of, if you want to check it out. In April, I received the amazing news that I had been awarded a 1-year work grant from the Swedish Cultural Foundation in Finland to develop my creative practice and to create YouTube content. This gave birth to the educational series Drumming Through the Decades, covering the history of drums and the drum kit with a special focus on female identifying drummers and musicians. I learned so much from the research of this series, and I think it's an important body of work as women so often are left out of the music history narrative. I was initially booked to run drum circle workshops at a big annual event for kids and teenagers in Finland, but because of COVID, it turned into a pre-recorded Boomwhackers workshop video instead. This format meant that I could have 7 of myself demonstrating at the same time, so at least that was a bonus. In May, I got to reconnect with the amazing drum community in the UK, which was still a rarity then because of COVID. 190 professional drummers were a part of the delayed 2020 European Football Championship campaign called This Time We Play Together. And I got to play drums on the top of a bus stop and also spent 2 full days on photo shoots geeking out with new and old drum friends, which was amazing. And my drum teacher Mike Dolbeer and Ash Soen coordinated all of the drummers. I was also taking part in the week-long online event Drumathon Live 2021, raising money for mental health. This is an amazing initiative by drummer Errol Kennedy from Imagination and his partner Bev Sage. Drumathon Live will continue in May 2022. I spent most of June in Finland, which was absolutely amazing since I hadn't been able to go back home for so long. And I'm a co-founder of the non-profit music organization Donna, which is music camps for girls, trans and non-binary youth. So when I was there, I attended their June camp as a drum teacher, band coach and workshop leader. And the whole camp felt very emotional and powerful to me, and I was so inspired by our next generation, and I was reminded of how important it is to create safe spaces like this for creativity and musical exploration. I also took my electronic drum equipment and Ableton out to the Finnish archipelago and got creative in a tiny little boat with my SPD-SX. I turned this into a fun little video that you can check out here on my YouTube. And I'm thinking to do another one out in the snow the next time I go to Finland. So watch this space. In July, when I was back in the UK, it felt like the doors had finally opened up for live gigs, and I suddenly found myself even busier than before the pandemic with live shows, which was amazing. I didn't even realize how much I had missed it. And as I'm now living in Wales and most of my work is still in London, I spent countless of hours on the M4. For those of you who are not from the UK, it's the motorway that connects London with Wales. I was also featured in Marshall's campaign, Why Do You Play?, alongside some other fantastic musicians. And I think it's really interesting to hear why different artists and musicians play music. I would love to hear why you do it too, so please let me know in the comments below. In August, I had a very exciting gig at Wembley Arena, being in the house band for Team Great Britain's homecoming from the Olympic Games in Tokyo, aired on BBC One. We played with Lauren Vula, Anne-Marie, Youngblood, Griff, Misha Paris, KSI, Spirituals Choir, and I'm still pinching myself for this one, Nile Rodgers and Chic! Oh my god. And my role was to recreate electronic drums and rhythmic loops from their songs, which I absolutely loved every single second of, since working in Ableton is one of my favorite things to do. And I also did a live stream for Modern Drummer's Instagram and Haley Kramer's weekly show on there. We started filming the travel music show Beats on Wheels, where we travel around to different places in the UK to interact with locals and capture sounds, which I then take and turn into songs. This series has been one of the most fun projects I've ever done, and I've actually seen more of Great Britain in the past few months than I have in my 12 years of living in this country. And the series is coming out in the second half of 2022. I also started to take weekly acting classes for TV in Cardiff, and this has been such a fun new hobby and something completely new that I've never done before, but I'm absolutely loving. In October, my car was transformed into Funkmobile Volume 2 with some incredible artwork by amazing friends and artists. So a little bit of background story here. In 2017, I originally volunteered my car for an art project as my car mechanic had told me it will die in the next 3 months. Well, I think my car must have got so happy with the paint job that it's still working perfectly fine now, 4 years later. And as the old artwork started to fade away, we decided to do it all over again. And we got together in my old neighborhood in Hackney Wick for a day of painting and listening to good music by my DJ friend Matty P, who was hosting us outside of his warehouse. I also filmed a live looping performance in a stone circle in Suffolk, which was a mega project as I had to practically bring my whole studio with me for that performance. And we had so many challenges, like getting 130 meters of power extensions rolled out into the circle, and our drone died, so we had to hire a new one last minute. And we only had a really small window of time when it wasn't raining, which obviously was crucial so it wouldn't ruin all of my equipment. But we did it thanks to amazing collaboration. So thank you so much, Jamie Panton, for another epic video shoot, and for Tom and Steven for helping out. We could never have done it without you guys. Although I've had many fun experiences in 2021, I have to say that the BBC Breakfast's Drumathon with Owain Evans was my absolute highlight. I was invited alongside many other drummers to join BBC weather reporter Owain for his 24-hour Drumathon challenge to raise money for children in need. The atmosphere in Media City's Philharmonic Hall in Manchester was magical, and it's so rare to have that many drum kits and drummers all together in the same room, including several of my drum heroes. And people say that drummers are a special breed, and I can only agree. There was no egos, and everyone's pure love for playing and inner kids came out, and we had such a blast together. Owain was amazing throughout the challenge, and so was Mark Richardson supporting him. And I think the magic we felt in the room was translated over the TV screens, as we raised more money than any other single Children in Need campaign has raised, which was almost £4 million. And I hope we also inspired people to pick up the drums and start playing, as there's now so much evidence out there regarding the positive impact drumming has on our well-being. And I'm super grateful for all of the new friends that I made from this event, and I hope we get to do more collaborations like this in the future. And I've already been lucky to get together with the amazing percussionist Alok Verma to create some live looping fun. I also auditioned for the Thriller Live musical tour on both drum kit and percussion, which was so much fun to prepare for. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and getting to play the grooves from his songs night after night for 8 months on a tour would be an absolute dream for me. And I did have positive news from the auditions, but unfortunately the whole tour was postponed due to COVID. So let's see what's gonna happen in 2022. Although I'm not living in Finland anymore, I still feel very connected to the culture there, being a Swedish-speaking Finn. So I'm really grateful for being featured in the cultural documentary Vad blev det av mig, covering people working in the cultural field from my hometown. I'm also super chuffed for the beautiful 4-page article in the choir magazine Resonans. In June 2022, I will play in the house band for a massive choir concert in the Helsinki Ice Hall Arena. In December, I was invited by Ableton to do an online masterclass for the event Drummer Sessions, hosted by Drumeo, alongside some incredibly talented drummers who are all using Ableton in creative ways. My workshop focused on live looping, and I was super hyped about the event as it combined two of my favorite things, drumming and Ableton. And I have some exciting plans in the making for 2022 on educational material for drummers who are interested in incorporating Ableton into their live shows and workflow. One of my favorite plugins for electronic drum production is EXO by Excellent Audio, and I was chuffed when Rachel K. Collier asked if she could sample my drums and percussion for a custom sample and preset extension pack that she was making for EXO. And I've also recorded some beats and loops for her, and we've had some fun creating together. And she's been a huge inspiration in my Ableton journey. So thank you, Rachel. And December has also been jam-packed with live shows, although some of them got cancelled due to, I think we all know what by now. And one of my highlights was a bat mitzvah party I did with Musica, where I did a UV paint drum performance and went absolutely nuts with powder and UV paint. It got very, very messy, and thank God they had some screen protectors, otherwise all the guests would have been covered in paint. Oops. I also released the final episode of Drumming Through the Decades, covering 2010 until today, and I did an interview for the Drum History podcast giving an overview of women's history related to drumming, starting 2000 BC, exploring what challenges women have had and why. If you know places that would benefit from the Drumming Through the Decades series, do let me know, as we're packaging the series for educational platforms in 2022. With such fun year behind me, the very end of this year has been a little bit of an anticlimax, as I tested positive for COVID just before Christmas, and I now have to self-isolate until the 2nd of January. Otherwise, I would be in Dubai performing with Coco Sound right now as this video is being released. Gosh, I do hope that everything related to COVID will finally get better in 2022. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody who's been watching and following my journey. And it's been super fun to make videos here on YouTube, and I have some exciting plans for this space in 2022. If you want to support my channel, do share it with friends and family, and I also have a little PayPal link in the description below. And more than anything, I'm wishing you a fantastic, amazing, fantabulous, gigantic, happy new year, and the best of luck on all of your adventures in 2022. Lots of love to all of you. Bye bye.